Hi, my name is Leonette, and welcome to The Good Space, your favorite safe, warm, and comfortable space. I thought I would start the first episode off with some Q&As, and some of you were kindly nice enough to send some questions via Instagram. Okay. So I picked three questions, and over the course of the series, I will answer three questions episode. So hopefully, all questions will be answered. First question is, you have come back to YouTube. What can we expect different this time? Okay, drag me. So honestly, this is like my third attempt at podcast, YouTube, the whole shebang. And what will always remain the same is the message, the mental health message, the safe space message. That has not changed. I feel what you can expect different this time is more guests, more interaction, better quality in video and sound, because I went from doing it in my bedrooms and now I'm in a studio. So you'll definitely see the difference there. I'm still transparent AF, so I'll still be sharing my experience. I have nothing to hide. In fact, I feel I'm more transparent because the healing journey is just getting better and better. I'm feeling more confident, so I'm more eager to help people in the same journey as me. Question two. I follow you on Instagram and your motivation is so inspiring. How do you do that, especially when your mental health gets in the way? Okay. Firstly, thank you. I assume you're talking about my 6 a.m. gym vids. Da da da. Um, I would say it's like they go hand in hand. They help each other. Gym helps my mental health. Mental health helps my gym. So I totally understand what you mean when you ask, like, how do you do it when you're just not there? I think sometimes I just don't, and that is okay. Sometimes I will not get up. Sometimes I will not go because I lose that battle that day. But that is just one day. I'm always very conscious of what may have triggered that. So I'm a big advocate for journaling. So I can go over why am I feeling this way today? What can I do differently? Or is it just one of those days? Especially as a woman, hormones get in the way, and sometimes there's not really much you can do. It's just one of those days. Also, I feel like healthy competition with myself helps. So if I look at what I've achieved the previous week, I just want to do better the next. But also don't apply too much pressure to yourself. What I think is important, when you have a day when you lose, don't spend that whole day feeling sorry for yourself because you did not get up and you did not do what you're supposed to do. Do the exact opposite. Treat yourself, watch your comfort show, journal, be very aware of the feelings you are feeling that day, and try your hardest to leave it that day. We have one day and then we keep going. That's what I tell myself, because as I said, there are days where I do not make it. And if you are asking me this question, I assume you watch my Instagram. I am very transparent about that. I will let you know today was not that day. I was not superwoman that day, and it's fine. I feel like as well, find what works for you. And it can be the most random things. Like, I was trying to write a blog for ages. I had block, I could not get it out. And then me and my partner were on the M way driving. It was like 2 hours. I wrote for my life. It was beautiful. I loved it. So now, if I ever have a writer's block again, best believe we're going on the M way just so I can write. Like, find what works for you, stick with it. So if you find like you have like a favorite, I don't know, a breakfast or something that you know will get you out of bed, like, stick to those things and just make it work for you. And lastly, motivation is important, but determination is above that, because some days you're just not motivated, but if you are determined, that will crush that. Question three, how do you deal with slip ups in your healing journey? Slip ups in the healing journey are inevitable. It's going to happen. Just learn from it. Triggers, I think it's so important to realize what triggers you so you don't keep creating the same slip ups. And don't be so upset when you find out the trigger is like a person, especially a person who may be close to you. I experienced that very recently, where I was surrounded by people who I've known for a very long time, and on two separate occasions I found myself slipping back into really old habits. When, especially if you're extroverted, in the moment, sometimes we don't think because we're too busy talking, laughing, like feeding off other people's energy, letting people suck the energy out of us, and we're not really aware of what's happening in the moment. We then go home and then we reflect, and we don't like what happened, but we realize it a bit too late. And I had two separate occasions where that happened to me, and I had to think like, okay, yes, of course, accountability on my side, but who else is around me that is bringing this out of me? I think once you realize triggers, it will allow you to make less mistakes and have less setbacks on the healing journey, but there will never be zero. There'll always be setbacks. It is literally a journey. It's not linear, it's continuous. So don't worry about it too much. Just, again, journal, realize what caused it, and then bring it back. And also just be easy on yourself, because it is crazy, especially like it depends on, I would say, the level of trauma you're trying to heal from. Just imagine it like you're facing this massive monster, right? And there is no way it's going to take one attempt to get it down. It's like if you're into like Stranger Things and Teen Wolf and things like that, you know, the big bad, like the big evil, it takes like the whole 5 seasons for them to kill it. They'll get closer every season, they'll find out things about it, its weaknesses, etc., and then eventually attack it. It's literally like that. So you're going to have setbacks, but you're also going to learn more about yourself, your triggers, strengths, weaknesses, and as long as you use what you learn to keep going, you'll be fine. Just be prepared to have to snip people as well. It happens. Okay, so those are the 3 questions. For those who don't know, the good space is my safe space, your safe space, comfortable favorite space. And I came up with this during university. I had a terrible time mentally at university. It's the first time I actually contemplated, like, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is the need? Do I need to exist? And I feel like I've never actually said out loud like it was that bad, but as I said, we're keeping it real. It was, anxiety and depression was through the roof. Anxiety as in like I couldn't go to, like, you know, every uni will have like its local Tesco, its local whatever. I couldn't go to the Tesco Express. It was like a 3-minute walk, but I would talk myself out of walking 3 minutes down the road. I could only really, funny enough, I could always find myself at work. But yeah, nowhere else. It feels surreal talking about it because it literally changed the trajectory of my life. I remember coming back one summer, you know, as you do, and you know, if you're African, you know that aunties are not shy about expressing like thoughts on your body, whatever. So I remember quite a few were like, oh my God, like you've lost so much weight. And I was looking at them like, I'm literally dying inside, but good for you that you think that, you know, this is great. I will say, so story time, I will say I always feel like, and I know my friends would be like, oh, you're being hard on yourself. A bit of it was self-inflicted because obviously, I would say how I chose to deal with certain aspects wasn't good. So like smoking, when you're not already in a good place mentally, in my opinion, just don't do it. It's not going to help. It's temporary. It will numb the pain for a bit, but it's not going to allow you to face going through. I'd say that part was self-inflicted. Also, I will blame the system because I feel like UK universities, they don't push as hard as like, even like if I think about my parents' experience in university in Ghana, I feel they really push that community, whether it's like boarding, party, well, we have parties, but events that are forced upon you for you to get to know your fellow uni people. We don't have that. So it was so easy for me to isolate myself, and I took that and I chose to isolate myself. So I did not have the experience that I know a lot of people did have. I feel like a lot of us who have developed some sort of anxiety or depression from something that's happened in our childhood, I feel until uni, a lot of us are sort of on autopilot. So we know what we're supposed to do. It's kind of written out for us. You get up, you go to school, you come home, all through college. You have, obviously some of us are rebels, but more time we follow the status quo. And I feel like you get to uni and then you have that freedom. You can make your own choices. You can decide, am I really going to do this? Am I going to do, and I feel like it throws you through a loop. And then you have to decide, like, who am I going to be? What are my choices? These choices will have an immediate effect on your future. And it's kind of scary, especially just coming from a place where all the choices were made for you and you were sort of told step 1 and then step 2 and then this is what's next. I find it really interesting watching how people dealt with that. Some people, like, I respect, because I feel like they just used it to go harder. So whether that was their studies, like they focused on that, they decided, yeah, okay, that's the road I'm going down. Some of us became party goers, some of us isolated, some people became entrepreneurs. Like I just feel like uni is where people decide to try all different things. And at the time it feels like that's a stamp and that is where you're going. You don't have any other choice. But upon reflection, I realized that it's literally just a small time of your life and it doesn't define you. You can come out and make better choices. So basically, yeah, I made the good space for the people who did not find their tribe or had a ridiculous experience at uni, or just have come to that point where they've accidentally unpacked a lot of childhood traumas, have realized, oh, this is why I do this that way and this is how it's affected me. And that is really hard. So this space is for you to feel seen, to get your questions answered, to teach me as well, teach me as I teach you. Listen to someone that you feel like you can relate to, or you can just come and listen to my business, like whatever works for you. That was my introduction into me and where the good space stems from. Thank you for the ones who sent in questions. I really do appreciate that. And as I said, I'll be answering them throughout this series. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you have learned something about yourself, something that you can hopefully apply to your friendships or to your healing journey. If you have any questions for me or my guest, make sure to leave them in the comment section below. If I do not know the answer, I will make sure to find someone who certainly does. Make sure you subscribe so you can tune into the next episode where I'll be covering another exciting topic.